Cam Miller gets endorsed by the GOAT. Josh Jacobs talks on why he left the Raiders, and Matthew Stafford declines Las Vegas to stay in LA. Yo, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Simone Raider back at it again with yet another video. I know it's been a little bit of a long time, but it's all good, man. If this is the very first time you guys are coming across this channel and you love Raiders content, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. We are about 400 away from 50K subscribers, so if you haven't already, man, hit that subscribe button. Now, first things first, let's talk about our owner, or part owner, Tom Brady. Now, we know he has a lot of say in what goes on with the Raiders and goes on with his team, especially throughout the whole offseason. But one player that he endorsed and one player that he told the Raiders that he would love to get, especially in the 6th round, was quarterback Cam Miller. According to The Athletic, they said that during the draft, Brady stayed away, but was in constant communication and was on the board with the selection of quarterback Cam Miller in the 6th round. He liked the way that he threw it, his technique, throwing from the ground up, and his motion, Spytech says, and he thought that he had the potential to improve. Like Brady, Miller has a history of winning, having won 2 FCS national championships at North Dakota State and 32 of the 35 starts at Silent High in Iowa. Now, honestly, that is definitely some high praise coming from the GOAT, the greatest to ever do it in the NFL. And if there's anybody that knows a little bit about, making the most of their opportunity, no matter where they were drafted, especially late in the 6th round, it's none other than Tom Brady, which I feel like is great for a guy like Cam Miller coming into the league. Now, I didn't expect him to come into the league and do anything. And heck, it's going to be really interesting for me. And I'm going to definitely keep my eye on Cam Miller throughout the whole offseason training program and even going into the preseason, because if you're getting endorsed by the GOAT, of course there's going to be some eyes on you and hopefully for you to go out there and succeed. Now, one thing that I did bring up before on my NFL draft recap for the Raiders draft class, Cam Miller talked about why he felt like he was the guy that they ended up picking up is just for the mere fact that he was a winner. And it seems like that's true. If the Raiders wanted to get a winner, then they definitely have it in Cam Miller. Miller has won 2 FCS national championships, like I said before, during his time at North Dakota State. He also went 45-11 as a starter and has broken multiple records at North Dakota State. One thing is for sure, Cam Miller knows what it takes to get the job done, and he's done it for a long time. And it's going to be really interesting coming into the Raiders, coming into Las Vegas, especially as a rookie, to see what he's going to do with this team moving forward. Like I said before, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on him, and it's going to be really intriguing to see how he's going to respond to the quarterback battles. Now, the quarterback room right now looks pretty much set. It seems like the Raiders are going to move forward with Geno Smith as the starter. AOC is going to be over there because he already has been with the team, is familiar with the team, and Cam Miller is going to be that one guy that's going to be fighting for that QB3 role, maybe even QB2 role, but it's going to be Cam Miller and possibly even Carter Bradley. Ironically enough, according to CBS Sports, they actually compared Cam Miller to a former late round draft pick in Brock Purdy. With his solid arm strength, polished footwork, impressive timing, and anticipation as a thrower, I can see why they compare the two. Now, if Cam Miller could some way, somehow be somewhat close to what Brock Purdy has been to the Niners for Las Vegas, then I think that this would be a huge win and especially a great pick for the Raiders in the 6th round. All offseason, I've been preaching about getting the young quarterback to take over when, Geno Smith's time is up and over with. And, I thought that the Raiders could have went in so many different directions before they even considered an FCS quarterback in the 6th round. But that being said, though, can Cam Miller be that guy? We'll just have to wait and see. If there is anybody that knows what it takes to make a name for themselves, especially being drafted late in the 6th round as a quarterback, it definitely is Tom Brady. Which brings me to my next bit of news. Now, a lot of people, including me, all thought that Tom Brady was in the war room with the Raiders and made decisions going on throughout the whole draft, which made me wonder why the Raiders didn't address the quarterback position earlier on, especially Shedeur Sanders, somebody that has a relationship with Tom Brady. I mean, the Raiders didn't get him in the 1st round. They didn't get him in the 2nd round, not the 3rd round, heck, not even the 4th round. The Raiders waited until the 6th round to finally address the quarterback position. And to me, I was like, damn, does Tom Brady really not want this guy? But he cleared things up on the Impulsive podcast and said that he actually stayed away from the draft room. He stayed away from making those decisions because he didn't want to be a distraction. And an interesting thing that he also did bring up on the Impulsive podcast was the fact that he did, in fact, keep in contact with Shedeur Sanders and texted him, encouraging him right after he was drafted in the 5th round.
Sanders, why did he go so late in the draft? It's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process or to
Skip Bayless
see
says
that.
otherwise.
That's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want. I actually texted Shedeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, whatever happens, wherever you go, that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199. Who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage.
At the end of the day, it's the truth. We say it many times in the NFL. It doesn't matter where you're selected. It matters what you do when you finally do get selected. And like I said before, Tom Brady knows that. And honestly, I just kind of wish that he could have made that call and just said, hey, go get Shedeur in the 4th round. It wouldn't hurt the team at all. But I'm not going to fault him. I'm not going to complain about it. Of course, I was a big advocate of getting Shedeur Sanders, but maybe the Raiders didn't want to get him, which is entirely fine with me. I feel like the Raiders overall killed the draft and did a great job throwing every single one of their picks, whether I expected it or not. I love the direction that the Raiders are going in right now. Now, moving on to some other bit of news, I want to talk about a former Raider, former running back for the Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs. He recently was on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, and he had a lot of things to say on why he left the Raiders. And one main thing that he brought up was the fact that he did everything that he could in his power to stay with the Raiders, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen that way.
How hard was it to leave the Raiders?
Bro, I never want to. Bro, it gets to a certain point where you're not going to keep disrespecting me. You only got so many times to be like, fuck you, before I'm like, fuck you too. Don't get me wrong. I have a great relationship with Mark Davis. I love Mark Davis. It has nothing to do with Mark Davis. But like, you bringing in these coaches every other year, new coaches, and it's like, now these new coaches is telling me I done already had 3 1,000-yard seasons. You telling me I got to prove myself like I'm a rookie. You treating me like a rookie. You telling me I got to play in the Hall of Fame game. We start losing, and then you feel like you need me, and then you play me. I play good, but then afterwards you basically like, yeah, you play good, but we're gonna franchise tag and you're going to play. And I looked at him and I'm like, I'm not gonna play. Where he was going wrong was he was talking too much, and I'm not gonna say who it was, but it's a guy that make decisions. And I'm like, he's talking too much and thinking it's not going to get back to me. And everything is getting back to me. And what made it worse, bro, when it comes to the Raiders, bro, and it really hurt my heart because I tried to stay. I did everything in my power to stay. My agent was he was getting mad at me because he like, bro, at what point are you going to be like, fuck these dudes? Because I'm like, look, I got 6 teams talking to me about more money than you. I'm like, can you match that? They say no. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm like, can we meet in the middle? Can we get the median of that? They say no. I say, okay. Because they was offering me 10 a year. I'm like, okay, 10 a year. I'm like, cool. Can I get some?
The Raiders were offering.
The Raiders was. I was like, can I get some incentives? I'm like, maybe I hit them, maybe I don't. They said no. Once they said that, I said, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Y'all let me know where I stand. And the crazy thing about it was when I had the meeting with Mark Davis, I said, I'm not asking you to pay me my worth because you can't. Like, and I know that's realistic, but like, just don't disrespect me. That's literally all I asked him. I'm like, bro, just don't disrespect me. I got all these other teams, all these other, like, having this respect, and I'm keep trying to come back to y'all and show y'all love and show y'all respect, and it ain't reciprocated. So I'm like, we don't really have too much to talk about. And then what's crazy is that I know it's one report over there that anytime he had anything to say, and they'd be like, where are people getting this information from? I'm like, it's coming from them. It's literally coming from them. I swear. So I was like, it was just a weird situation, bro. I'm telling you, it was the weirdest situation ever. And it has nothing to do with the Raiders organization. It's more so the people that they had in there at the time.
And it really is sad, though, because everything is true. As much as I wanted him to stay a Raider, I was one of those guys that I really wanted him to stay because I seen what he was able to do with the Las Vegas Raiders. Heck, even the Oakland Raiders, he's been dealing with a lot of different offensive coordinators, different regimes, but he was still over here giving 110%. He actually reached out to me, Mr. Fitz, and even told us everything that went on after he decided to go to the Green Bay Packers. And it was a shock to a lot of us because we thought that he was just going to stay with the Raiders, just end up signing with the team on a franchise tag, but that was further from the truth. Now, the person that he is talking about was definitely Tom Telesco. He told us all about it and kind of was trying to tell his side of the story, which is why we were actually planning to have him on our podcast, but that never fell through because he got busy and whatnot. But we're still going to come out with a podcast when he does come back out to Las Vegas. But Nonetheless, he kind of talked about this a little bit at the Super Bowl with Q Myers and kind of spilled a lot of the tea. And the Raider Nation, let's be honest, wasn't really nice to him when he ended up going to the Green Bay Packers last year. A lot of people were on him. A lot of people were not siding with him. A lot of people were just acting like he was all about the money and he wasn't a true Raider, but never really knew the true story behind it all. Everything started with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler when they came in. He had to prove himself, and he still went out there and was the best running back in the league. Then when they got fired and a new regime came in, especially with Antonio Pierce now coming in and Tom Telesco didn't budge at all with trying to work with Josh Jacobs. And I'm not going to name the reporter, but it's definitely somebody that a lot of people know. And I'll just say this: it's not Hondo Carpenter. Whether you like him or not, I just wanted to put that out there. Just to see everything that he's done for the Silver and Black and to still be disrespected by the higher ups and even the Raider Nation, who turned on him when he decided to leave, was crazy because he wanted to be a Raider for life. At the end of the day, though, I'm just really happy to see that he's doing a great job over there with the Green Bay Packers, and he's found a new life over there, which I'm never going to be mad about. I just kind of wish that he could have did it over here, but hey, we got Ashton Jency now, so we don't have to worry about it. But maybe we didn't even have to get Ashton Jency if we already had Josh Jacobs on the team. Now, I know that there's going to be other fans out there saying, why is he even talking about this? Oh, he's always talking about the Raiders. You guys got to understand, man. One, he was on a podcast with, a former teammate, and also he was asked about it, so he's going to tell his whole truth and not lie about the whole situation. And we got to be honest with ourselves. The past couple of regimes just wasn't it. But that's why I feel like right now with Pete Carroll and this new regime, I feel like we're starting to get the culture back. And hopefully that's true, because I'm always hyped up about these new regimes just for it not to pan out. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, wishing nothing but the best for Josh Jacobs in his future. And I just hope that now with Ashton Jency on this team that we don't have to worry about the running back position anymore. Now, the last thing I want to kind of talk about is Matthew Stafford. Just real quick, man. According to Albert Breer, it seems like the Raiders and the Giants were willing to offer quarterback Matthew Stafford more than $100 million over the next 2 seasons, but he left roughly $20 million on the table to re-sign with the Rams on a 2-year, $84 million deal. And all I gotta say to that is,
I ain't got no time for this. Bye, Felicia.
Okay, no.
What did he just say?
No.
Did he just say bye, Felicia? To me?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Bye, Felicia.
now I know that there's a lot of people inside the organization, a lot of people that I've talked to, even some players, all thought that Matthew Stafford was gonna come to the Raiders. And I felt like it could have been a solid move for the Raiders, even though I didn't want to pay that much for him, especially $100 million. God damn. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Raiders made the smart move, the smart decision moving forward. They saved money, and they also went out and got Geno Smith, who I feel like is not that far off from Matthew Stafford. And I feel like with his rapport with Pete Carroll, the Raiders should be in good hands moving forward. But Raider Nation, let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like the Raiders would have been better off with Matthew Stafford, even with that much money, or are you guys just happy with what we have right now and Geno Smith? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next video, though, Raider Nation, this your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is, yeah.